So when class about to start?
In like 15 minutes.
What is it, by the way?
The class?
Yeah.
Ashtanga?
Ashtanga. How long is it?
So this one's an hour, and then the one that I'll be doing Thursday, Wednesday and Saturday, like, definitely on Wednesday is 75 minutes, but the other two is like, well, 60. Yeah. Today's more for like beginners introduction, but the other ones are more like, we'll be going.
So what's that one called?
Just Ashtanga.
Just Ashtanga.
Yeah.
It's not a heat, is it?
No.
The sauna zone?
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh my god,
It's not finished yet, but work still.
is this called
This is done by David. We did my final bar here.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And then you started.
This is heavy, yeah. It's still healing. I'm going to get to do some lessons on this character when I'm going I don't know space now. I've been waiting for this moment when I start to run out of space.
You're gonna have to start going over stuff.
I know, like, yeah, isn't it? Doubling up. It's a great studio, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Like, I always used to see it when I would be on the train.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never been in this place. Yeah.
How was it? Was this your first class here, right?
Yes.
And have they been busy? Like,
Pardon?
have they been busy?
So, my ones are like DHY.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been okay. Like, yesterday was fully booked.
Yeah.
Which is nice. The good news is that time was late.
Yeah. People that are not sure what they're coming back to the
And
same.
also like a mixture of like school as well.
Yeah.
It was great. It was just intensified and rolling and stuff like that.
Yeah. I felt that as well.
Yeah, but it's really good again. Like it's really busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the studio is usually like
Yes. My friend Sam teaches here as well, Sam. Good art.
Oh, okay.
She teaches at the point as well. Well, she kind of just cover classes at the moment, but
Yeah.
I want to come now. I've got the membership. I'm going to come to one of the first. I haven't done big room for years. That's why I started big room. Yeah, that's my end. I did big room for 2.5 years. That's my introduction to yoga. So. I need a week to start.
Do I need to do anything, Eddie? Like sign in?
No, sign in.
Oh, that's perfect.
Let me just have a quick wee.
Oh my god, you just roll around on the floor.
Just now.
Roll.
Look at this mat as well.
Oh, it's so nice.
Such a nice colour as well. Let me see all your new tattoos. Because you've like this one. Definitely seen that one.
Yes.
Yes. And then what did it be? Like hide. Is it hiding?
Yeah. And then these ones, I'm trying to get some fucking hats, so I'm not.
Really?
Yeah. Like this one was just painful, like these three dots on the bony bits, and it was just terrible. Yeah. But toes was just like. Yeah. I got my brain in that sort of you know. She did editing and it went in really well.
Yeah.
But mine was just. The rest of my skin was really. What's the word? Like accepting the thing, but.
Yeah.
Kind of being. That's really.
Yeah.
How you got any things?
I got the leaves. And then my friend was so good, she was behind me, like,
Oh, nice.
and then she was super left, and then I didn't say to her.
Oh,
I was like,
just stabbing it.
I really want to do it. It's really like, especially this Ronan came around and it's like, yeah, I did this on myself, did that on myself. And I was just like, oh, now.
Yeah. Mars, like my week off, and Mars is not sleeping. It's about like every hour. My both are shattered. But
Yeah, he's doing some weird sleep regression thing.
Oh, really?
Something like in 45-minute bursts, and then that's it, just 24/7.
yeah, where is he now? Is he with
at home with
He's at home with our mum. My mum.
Oh,
My
that's
mum.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice and chill.
Yeah, because she loves her house.
Yeah, definitely. But also giving you guys a little bit of space as well.
yeah, it's nice to be fasting. We don't have practice together, so.
When was the last time?
Pregnant.
Ever. Yeah.
Have you guys been going to like the pod and stuff?
We're never together.
That?
Big you went to the podcast.
Yeah, I've got really like fun one. I think I went like once a week, 3 weeks in a row. But haven't gone for ages. Yeah. Get back into the tantra practice. So And we will teach it. And Ed's doing this. I want to try and do like a regular class, probably on Zoom. So it's just like it's so hard to get back into teaching because I just stopped so long ago. It's been over a year since I stopped at Hotpot. Yeah, I stopped that straight away and I was teaching our class for a while.
Yeah. Started welcome to
Okay, so
good to go.
perfect. I'll see you in an hour. Cool. Well, hi guys online. How exciting. So actually going to start practice standing up. Down to the pose to Asana. And this is kind of like a beginner's introduction to Ashtanga. We're just going to take it like slowly, see how we feel. I'll see you guys for the first time and get back together practicing. So just standing comfortably, feet nice and wide. See if you can feel the ground beneath your toes as well as your heels. Let the shoulders relax. Head is in neutral, palms open facing the front. And just take a moment to settle the mind. Come to notice your breathing. So not controlling it just yet, but just letting it flow. So I'm going to open class with the opening mantra. Feel free to join in at home if you want. Om Vande Guranam Charanarvinde Sandarashita Svatma Sukarabode Nishreyase Jandali Kyamane Samsara Hala Hala Mohashanti Babu Shakaram Shankra Sitarinam Saraswa Shirasam Shritam Prananami Patanjali Om. So just taking a moment into Asana Mountain Pose to maybe start your Ujjayi breath if that's something that you practice. So Ujjayi is a slight constriction at the back of your throat on the inhale. The exhale is down with the mouth closed. It's quite noisy, maybe sounds like the ocean. It's quite an audible form of breathing. If you're not comfortable practicing it, no worries. So when you're ready, we're going to move into 2 rounds of sun salutation A and B. So wiggling your fingers, toes, toes, eyes open, grounding yourself. When you're ready, inhale, we're going to reach those hands up. And on the exhale, pressing the hips back, folding down forwards, and the knees moving. Inhale, coming to halfway lift. Maybe take hands to the shins, looking forwards. Exhale, we're going to plant those hands, step back to your plank position. So option here, either taking full chaturanga or come down to the knees, and then whole body lowers to the floor. Inhale, open up the chest, squeeze the glutes, roll the shoulders back. Exhale into your downward facing dog. So taking 5 breaths here. Start to allow that breath to happen naturally. Again, if you're starting that Ujjayi, start to get a little bit more used to it. Working on really pressing through the whole hand. We'll take 1 more breath in. Next, inhale, looking between the hands, stepping or jumping to halfway lift. Exhale, folding yourself forwards. Inhale, reaching those hands up and above, squeezing the glutes. Then exhale, hands down by your sides. Lovely, we'll go one more time. So inhale, circle your hands up. Exhale, taking time for forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, trying to go wherever. Exhale, plant those hands, step yourself back to front. So again, decide full chaturanga or come to the knees. Hands flow on the exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, open the chest, push your feet to the floor. Exhaling down and facing dog. So 1, making sure those feet are nice and spread out, about hip distance apart. 2, feel free to pedal out the legs. Maybe move the head around. 3, trying to take your eyes, your gaze between the feet, between the knees, whatever's more comfortable. 4. And 5, next inhale, look between the hands, make your way back halfway lift, stepping or jumping. Exhale, reaching those hands up. And exhale down by heart center. Lovely. So this time 2 rounds of B. Let's take the feet nice and wide, about hip distance apart. Inhale, bend those knees, draw the hands up to chair pose. Exhale, folding yourself forwards. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, pull out those hands, step back to your plank. Again, same thing, lower towards the position is best. Inhale, open the chest as high as possible. Exhaling down, facing down. Lovely. So into our first warrior one. Let's turn that left foot out to about 45 degrees. Right foot steps towards the hands, ground through the feet. Inhale, slowly rising all the way up, warrior one. So bending into that front leg, beautiful. Belly button draws in. Exhale, hands down, stepping back to back. Inhale, exhale, lower. Lift the chest and squeeze, beautiful. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Second side, right foot turns to 45 degrees, left foot steps towards the hands. Ground yourself. Inhale, slowly rising, warrior one. Beautiful. So hips facing the front, drawing that belly in. Lovely. When you're ready, plant those hands down. Step back. Take your time low. Working with your breath. Lovely. Lift to whatever height is comfortable. And exhale to down dog. So again, 5 breaths here. So 1, checking in, back breathing. 2, can we feel ourselves supported by the hands, by the feet? 3, allowing kindness to come to our practice and not forcing the body so early on. See where we're at. 4. And 5. Next inhale, look between the hands, step and jump halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, bend those knees, draw the hands up, shadows. Exhale, releasing, sitting. Lovely. Nice and close. Oh yeah. Let's go one more time. So feet nice and wide. When you're ready, inhale to bend the knees, draw the hands up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands now step back to your plank. When you're ready, lower on the exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, open the chest, squeeze your legs. Exhale, down and facing dog. So left foot to 45 degrees, step that right foot forwards. Ground down first, inhale. Move up. Beautiful. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. On your next exhale, low down. Lovely. Inhale, open up. Squeeze and release. Exhale, down, down. This time, right foot to 45 degrees, left foot steps towards. Ground yourself. Find the balance, then rise. Lovely. Try to stack that knee on top of that ankle. When you are ready, planting those hands, step back to plank. Taking time, lower down. Inhale, opening this chest. And exhaling down for 5 breaths. Beautiful. So again, 1, thinking about pressing through evenly the fingertips. 2, keeping those hips nice and high as the belly button draws in towards the spine. 3, allowing our breath to continue to flow. 4. And 5, inhale, looking between those hands, step or jumping halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bending those knees, draw those hands up, shadows. And then exhale, releasing. Samasiddhi. Take the feet a little bit wider. Take a moment, we're going to close down those eyes. Finding again the balance between the toes, the heels. Seeing how that breath has developed. In turn, the heart rate, in turn, the body temperature. Sun salutations are there to facilitate this inner fire. Get us nice and warmed up before we come to our main sequence. So when you're ready, wiggling those fingers, wiggling the toes, eyes blink back open. Let's find those hips, and we're going to take those feet again, about hip distance apart. So our first forward fold, We're going to take the grip around the big toes, index and middle fingers in these grips. So inhale, turn lengthen through the spine. Exhale, push the hips back, fold to about 90 degrees. When we can't fold anymore, bend those legs. Then take the grip around the big toe, thumb comes on top. Inhale, first of all, look forwards, arms straight, fill those lungs. Exhale, now invite the forward fold. Elbows extend out to either side of the rib. So take your time to bring yourself down to the pose. 2 elbows going out opposite sides, so we get this lovely opening towards the front of our shoulders. Beautiful. 3, if we need to keep those legs bent, go for it. 4. And 5. So inhale, we start to straighten up those arms, looking forwards ever so slightly. This time we release, we step on top of those hands, the toes go up to the wrists. If this is too much, we take the tops of the hands to the backs of the shins. Again, inhale, lift the chest, fill the lungs. Exhale, and invite that forward fold. Take your time coming into this, learning to distribute the weight between the hands and the heels, to allowing the breath to move into the whole of the back and the sides. 3, keep that head relaxed, allow it to work with gravity. 4, and 5, just slowly step off your hands, take them towards your hips, squeeze your glutes, slowly rolling all the way up to standing, just taking your time, pushing through the feet. Now when you get there, release into sunseated. Lovely. So from here, taking a step back with the right leg, turning all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Lovely. So you want the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and now turning that right foot towards the back of your mat. Lovely. You're going to open out your hands, both facing the same way as your chest. Oh, I love the mirrors in here. So inhale. Exhale, we're going to reach forwards with the right hand, push your hips behind you, and slowly take the right hand down towards the inside of the right leg. Turning your gaze to look up to the left hand. Utthita Trikonasana, breathing here for 5. So pressing down into the back foot. 2, make this pose your own. So if the hand wants to go higher, or if it wants to go lower, or maybe even into the bind around the big toe. Beautiful. 3, keeping those shoulders and hips in line. 4. And 5, so exhale, look down at the bottom leg. Inhale, come all the way back up. Keep the hands where they are. We'll swap the feet over. So right foot turns to the long edge, left foot turns forwards. Reaching forwards with that left hand, take it to the inside. Eyes gaze up to the right hand. Beautiful. Again, moving with your breathing. 2, try to grip the toes into the ground, especially the big toe. That will switch your glutes up. 3, keeping that breath control. 4. And 5, exhale towards ground. Inhale, coming all the way up through to standing. So reset the left leg, turning the right leg towards the back. This time the left foot comes into about 45 degrees. We're going to take hold of our hips, so making sure the hips are facing the back of our mat. Right hand stays on the hip. Inhale, you're going to draw the left hand up towards the sky. Exhale, reach as far forwards as you can with that hand and take it down towards the right shin. Exhale, slowly rotating towards the right hand side. Now, if you guys feel comfortable, maybe you keep your hand onto that hip, or maybe you begin to open it up towards the ceiling, depending on whatever feels best. Work with your body, not against it, and just take your time here, because it is a tricky balance. Beautiful. We'll take one more breath. If that top hand is floating, slowly take it back onto the right hip. And inhale, coming all the way back up through to standing. Both hands to those hips. We're going to pivot all the way around. So first we will turn those toes to the long edge. Then left foot forwards, right foot goes in. So hands back to the hips. Inhale, right hand goes up. Exhale, reaching forwards. Take it down to that shin, and then slowly rotating towards the left hand side. Pressing down into the feet for 1. 2, maybe exploring opening up the top hand if it feels good. Lovely. 3, find that breath into that chest. Rotating from the shoulders. 4. 5, take that top hand back to that left hip, slowly rising, slowly coming all the way back up, and then stepping in, summer seating and taking a moment here. Lovely, so extended angle. This time take a bigger step back with the right leg, so just a little bit wider. Beautiful. All 10 toes again, face the long edge of the mat. Right leg turns towards the back. From here we bend that knee, stacking it over that heel. We either take that right forearm down to that knee, or maybe we take it down to the ground. That left hand sweeps down the body and then opens up over our head, pointing towards the back of the mat. So again, decide, explore what feels good. The 2, press the feet into the ground. 3, keep opening the shoulders, opening the hips to face that long edge of the mat. 4, and 5, inhale, push through the floor, come all the way up to standing. We're going to keep those hands open, straighten the front leg, swap those legs around. So, left toes to the front, bend that knee. Maybe start by taking the forearm down, then see if the hand, as you sweep that right hand down, and open it up towards the top of the mat. Beautiful. So again, focusing on this external rotation in the hips, opening through the shoulders, the chest. 2, try to grip down into the feet. 3, let the head, let the eyes move wherever's most comfortable. 4, and 5, as you look down towards the bottom leg, press, come all the way back to standing, hands open, reset the toes, long edge of the mat. Just give yourself a little bit of a shake. Lovely. So, into our twisted extended angle. Right leg again turns towards the back. This time back foot comes into about 45 degrees. Let's start with hands to the hips, bending into that front leg. So kind of like our warrior 1. Beautiful. From here, let's take hands to heart center in prayer position. We're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, start to rotate towards the right hand side, but keep it fairly upright. Now, as you lean forwards, take that elbow to the outside of the right knee. Beautiful. So 1, working to press that back foot down to the ground. 2, if it's comfortable and you feel like it, maybe we take that left hand to the ground, the right hand reaches up and over the head. 3, but we work with our body, good. Keep that rotation through the top, focus on the shoulders. 4, beautiful guys. And 5, control it down to the right leg, slowly press yourself all the way back up, release the hands, straighten up the legs, turning to face the long edge. Lovely. So last time, left foot turns forwards, right foot turns in, bending to that front leg, warrior 1. Hands come to heart center, so inhale, lengthen. Exhale, first of all, rotate towards the left hand side, then take that elbow down, pressing through the back leg. So 1, again, decide what we want to do with those hands. 2, keeping on top of that breathing. Lovely. 3, making sure those glutes are switched on. So we're supporting that hip extension. 4. And 5, slowly pushing through the feet, coming all the way up through to standing, straighten up the legs and step yourself in. Giving yourself a little shake. Lovely. How are you guys doing? It's nice and toasty. Cool. So coming into Prasarita. So when you're ready, stepping back with that right leg. Again, sort of a nice, equally distance triangle. Nothing too wide. So into a couple of forward folds. First of all, inhale, find the hips, try lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, pushing those hips back. Take those hands down to the ground. If you can, maybe think about taking the fingers in line with the toes. Inhale, again, we lengthen, look forwards, fill the lungs. On the exhale, bend those elbows, take the chin to our chest, fold inwards. You need to bend the knees, allow it. 2, take your time to find that fold, working with each breath. Beautiful. 3, find that balance between the toes, between the heels. 4. And on 5, inhale, we straighten up those arms, we look forwards, hands to the hips, squeeze the glutes as you slowly rise all the way up. Squeezing the glutes just to help with like not feeling too lightheaded. So hands are going to come towards our lower back, fingertips facing down. I want you to try roll the shoulders back and down, squeezing your elbows together. So again, inhale, lengthening. Exhale, folding forwards, keeping the hands where they are. So take your time to find your depth in the pose. This time working on a little bit more active strength towards the chest, towards the shoulder blades. Thinking about keeping those elbows nice and tight. Again, relaxing that head, facilitating that fold as much as you want. 4. And on 5, push through the feet, squeeze the glutes, slowly come all the way upright. As you get to the top, just release your hands, have a little shake. Lovely. This time again, roll those shoulders back. This time we interlace the hands behind us. Roll and start to lift that chest forwards. Inhale. Exhale again, folding forwards, taking your time. Allowing those hands to move towards the ground as much as you're comfortable with. To relax in that head. 3, working with gravity, allow it to perhaps move the hands a little bit deeper if that's something you're after. 4. And then on 5 again, we squeeze the glutes, we push through the feet, we slowly rise all the way up. Taking a go or releasing the hand, have a little shake. Lovely. So last time, you're going to take the index and the middle finger around the big toe with the thumbs on top. So find your hips again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press those hips back as you start to fold forward. So before we bring the chin directly down to the chest, take hold of the big toes. Thumbs on top, inhale, straighten up the spine, fill those lungs. Then exhale, invite that fold. So elbows bend out again to either side of your mat. Reason being, we get that lovely opening towards the front of the shoulder. 2, the trick is to push the big toe into the fingers so you add some resistance and you start to engage the glutes a little bit more. 3, finding your breath moving easily without stretching. 4. And in 5, start to slowly straighten up through those arms as you take your eyes forwards, hands come back to the hips, squeeze, glutes slowly rising. Take a breath in with me. Maybe exhale out of the mouth if you like. Lovely. When you're ready, step to the top of your mat. Stand as you deep, have a little shake. Lovely. So, last little bit of the fundamentals. Take a smaller step back, literally just wider than hip distance apart. Right toes turn to the back, left toes turn into about 45 degrees. So super narrow stance. If you would like, maybe take your feet a little bit wider so you're more sort of distributed. Either coming to hold opposite elbows or reverse namaste, whatever feels better. We're going to inhale to lengthen. And exhale, start to slowly fold forwards, pushing those hips back. Fold as much as you're comfortable with. Maybe even working towards taking the forehead to the knee. Of course, the goal of yoga is never to end pose. It's seeing and listening to our body. So take your time with this. It is a tricky balance because it's such a narrow gait. Lovely. And a lot of our weight is going into the front leg. So if you need to take a micro bend in that knee as well, go for it. Take one more breath in. And then just as we did with the previous postures, push through the feet, squeeze, slowly rise. We're going to keep holding either opposite elbows or reverse namaste and pivot ourselves all the way around. So left foot forwards, right foot to about 45 degrees. Inhale again and lengthen. Exhale, take your time, folding forwards. Make sure we've got weight into the back leg. Those hips are level with one another for 2. Lovely. For 3, making sure we're constantly rolling and squeezing those shoulder blades together. 4. And 5, pushing through the feet, slowly rising all the way back up. Releasing those hands and stepping into Samastiti. So first of our vinyasas, inhale, take those hands above the head. Exhale, fold yourself forwards. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to back. So again, come down full chaturanga, or use his knees. Inhale, open to cobra or up dog or whatever variation. Exhaling through, down and facing dog for 5 breaths. So 1, again, making sure pressing through the whole hand. 2, take a moment, checking with your breathing, where it's at. 3, figuring out what those legs need. Do they need a bit of movement or will they rather be still? 4, and 5. Inhale, in between those hands, stepping or jumping back, halfway lift. Exhale, folding throughs. Inhale, reaching those hands up and above. Then exhaling, taking them down to heart center. Releasing the bicep. How you guys been? Cool. Perfect. Super tasty. So from here, we're going to take an inhale and start to draw that left knee to our chest. So using more of those hip flexor muscles. From here, take the right hand to your hip, left hand, big, or index and middle finger around the big toe. So either inhaling and staying here, or exhaling, starting to lengthen that leg away from you. As straight or as bent as you want it to be. Beautiful. Take your time, find the breath, find that balance. Good, and again, like we did, push the big toe into those fingers. Lovely. Let's go for one more breath here. On your next exhale, you're going to slowly start to open that leg out towards the left-hand side. So again, if it's bent, no worries. If it's straight, go for that. Take your time, keep that chest open. If you feel comfortable, maybe start to take your eyes towards the right side. If you guys fall out of the pose, just take as long as you need to come back to it. One more breath here. And inhale, we're going to draw it forwards. We're going to crunch in, so draw your forehead to the knee, give it a little kiss. And then slowly, as you engage through the quads, release that leg. 5 breaths. This is one of the hardest bits. Ooh, good. Breathing. Keep that breath regulated. As low or as high as you like. 4 and 5. Lovely. Release that leg. Give it a little shake. Beautiful. So inhale, take those hands up. Exhale, fold yourself forwards. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, hands and stepping back to your back. Take your time to lower down. Reach up the leg. Inhale, open up. Beautiful. Exhale to downward dog for 5 breaths. Give some love, give some attention to the legs. Just did a lot of work, and that's balance, so what do they need? Beautiful. So in a moment, we shall take one again. One breath. Next, inhale, looking between the hands, stepping or jumping halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching those hands up. And then drawing them down to heart center. So inhale, lift the right knee to your chest this time, as close as it's going to go. Left hand to the hip, index and middle finger with the right hand, wrap it around the big toe. So decide if we want to stay tight, or we might want to extend the leg away from us. Keep your eyes focused on something. I know it's hard looking in the mirror when you're moving already. Beautiful, guys. So keeping those shoulders nice and open for 2. And on one exhale, open that leg out towards the right hand side. Beautiful, good control. Using the toes. 2, keeping that breath steady. 3, shoulders, let them relax. 4. And on 5, slowly come back through center, crunch in, so nose to knee. As you straighten up, release that leg, holding into a point, breathing for 2. 3, 4, let burn to the quads. Lovely, and on 5, release those legs, give it a little shake. Guide yourself through your next vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. We'll be there for 5 breaths. Before coming into some more standing postures. So as you go through these vinyasas, Pay attention to each of the movements. Yes, they're the same. Yes, they can become repetitive. There's so much more to be said about being present with the movement rather than just doing movements. Take one more breath in. Next inhale, looking between those hands, step or jump halfway lift. Exhale, fold inwards. Inhale, reaching those hands up and above. Then exhaling. Lovely. So coming into half round motor. So rounding down through the right leg, we either take that left foot and bring it up to sit into the crook of the hips. If this feels way too much, we come into standing figure 4 where the leg is just crossed over the right leg. So if we're in figure 4, we take an inhale, bend up, and the exhale, we just bend down and see how low we want to go. If we're coming into our lotus pose, see if we can wrap that hand around the waist and maybe we take hold of the foot. If not, no worries, you've got to use a little bit more strength. But inhale, and then exhale, we're going to start to fold forwards. So take your time, maybe take both hands, or maybe it's just the right hand down to the ground, chin to the chest, lifting behind you. Beautiful. If we're in our figure 4 pose, we again take our time to fold forwards. We allow as much of a bend in those legs as we need. Beautiful. So one more breath in. Nice and slow, start to lift the head, push through the feet, slowly coming all the way back up and then releasing those legs. Nice, let's go down a little bit of the shape. So onto the other side. Again, decide, do we want to come to figure 4 with the right leg, or do we want to come to our half lotus pose? If we're in half lotus, maybe invite the line, but when you're ready, press those hips back, start to fold forwards. Either both hands to the ground, or just the one that's not in the line. Similarly, when you figure 4, fingertips to the ground. Perfect. So 1, again, find that balance on the foot. 2, work by starting and pressing that knee away from the body, getting a little bit more engagement to the glutes. 3, finding the head where it can relax. 4, slowly start to lift the chin away from the chest, pressing down to the feet, coming center, and releasing those legs. Lovely, taking some time. Inhale, circle those hands up. Exhale, folding forwards, moving through the vinyasa, just reset. Inhale, bring it into my foot. Exhale, hands down, step to the so inhale, back. Exhale, bring it. And then inhale to open through the chest. Exhale down, face the door. Okay. Taking 2 more breaths in. Next, inhale, looking between those hands, step and jumping halfway lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, this when we bend those knees, we draw the hands above the head, coming into our chair pose for 5 breaths. So 1, squeezing the glutes. 2, taking it as deep or as shallow as you like. 3, finding the balance between the toes, between the heels. 4, and 5, slowly straightening up, release on the CT. Into our little warrior sequence, step back with the right leg. Again, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. So warrior 1 first, right foot turns to the back, left foot comes into 45 degrees, bend into the front leg, draw both hands above the head. Beautiful. So filling the whole of the body with air. So from the front to the sides to the back. 2, making sure your hips are facing the same way as your shoulders. 3, having that nice solid stack in the front leg, make sure that knee is facing forwards. 4, beautiful. And then 5, we keep the hands where we are, but we pivot. So start to straighten the front leg, Turn those feet around, so left foot towards the front, right foot 45 degrees, bending into that front leg. Good, again, breathing. 2, into the shoulders, into the chest. 3, as you draw that belly button in, use it to support that spine. 4. Beautiful. And on 5, we keep the hands where they are again, so straighten up the front leg, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. Right foot turns towards the back. As you bend into that knee, open out, warrior 2. One hand in front, one hand behind. Beautiful. So at this point, my shoulders always burn. So they need a little bit of a shake, go for it. 3, making sure shoulders are over those hips. 4. And on 5 again, keep the hands where they are, pivot those legs round. So right toes to the long edge, left leg towards the front, bending into that leg. Beautiful. Keep drawing that belly button in, shoulders over those hips. 3. Grounding down through the back foot as well. 4. And on 5, you're going to windmill those hands down either side of the front leg, turn onto the back foot, step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale to come down. Take your time, open up that chest, squeeze your shoulders down. Lovely guys. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely. So taking a couple movements here, of course, please drink water where that belly moves. We're going to start making our way down into some of the seated postures inside. One more breath in. So let's try a little jumping transition. We're going to take an inhale between the hands. Tell yourself that's where I'm going to end up on my belly. You come up nice and high onto your tiptoes. Start to bend your knees so you're sinking down and loading your legs. On your inhale, you're going to hop yourself up, cross those legs and land on the floor. Beautiful guys, release those legs in front. So Dandasana, preparatory pose. Take the hands next to your hips. They want to be lightly pressing into the ground. So if you have longer arms, maybe they need to go further back or further forwards. Flexing the feet, roll the shoulders back and down, inhale. On the exhale, we drop the chin to our chest. Coming into one of the bandhas, a Jandara chin lock. Keeping that breath again nice and strong. There should be little to no effort into the hands. 3, so you're using more of your active strength to keep your posture nice and upright. Beautiful. One more breath in. And then inhale, release the chin lock, looking forwards. We're going to circle those hands up and above. And exhale, start to tilt those hips forwards, reaching as far in front of you as you can, first of all. So seeing where we get. Using again more active strength to our forward fold. And then from here, if you need to bend those knees to catch hold of the outsides of the feet, please do. Slowly drop the chin to the chest. As we're here for 5 breaths, maybe you see if you want to straighten up the legs a little bit more as you fold forwards. But remembering the goal of yoga is not to touch your toes. It's to experience the body as a whole. As we come in and out and stay in each pose. 3, beautiful. Think about that spine constantly, subtly lengthening down towards those legs. Working with the assistance of gravity. 4. And on 5, slowly release the hands, rolling yourself all the way upright to seated. Into our intense resting pose. We take those fingertips behind us, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Now we either do this with straight legs or bent legs. Bent legs variation, we press through the feet, we lift those hips up, we squeeze the glutes, you maybe tilt the head behind us. Full posture, legs stay straight, we press into the ground, we lift those hips. So taking whatever variation feels good, but of course feel free to change it up. 2, but pressing through the hands, lifting that chest up. 3, engagement in those glutes. Lovely, got it. 4. And on 5, start by taking the chin back to the chest and slowly lowering the bum all the way back down to the ground. Release those legs, give those wrists, give those ankles a little bit of a shake. Into our vinyasa, so cross those legs in, rock forwards, plant the hands, step back to plank. Inhale again, prepare. Exhale, come down. And inhale, open the chest. Exhaling, down and facing dog. So 5 breaths again over here. I'll let you find your own sort of background, own sort of adjustments. We come into some more seated poses. So one more breath in. Once again, inhale, looking between those hands, coming up onto those tip toes. Bend the knees, loading the legs, hold yourself forward, cross the legs and back. Beautiful, release those legs and come. So once again, we're going to come into our sort of seated position of our half leg twist. So taking that left foot and seeing first of all if it wants to sit up into the hip crease. If we're comfortable with it there, if not, we come back to our figure 4 position. So either way, if you want, you can wrap that left hand around, maybe come into the bind and stay on the toes. Inhale, we're going to lift and lengthen. Exhale, start to fold forwards. Pull the hands down, pass that right leg, chin to the chest. Slowly encouraging the fold. If we're in a figure 4, again, very similar principle. One's just slightly less intense for me, so get most of the body. Work on subtly pressing that knee into the floor. That way we can switch on different areas of the glutes. One more breath in. And slowly walk those hands all the way back. Maybe use them to just release that left leg into the shape. And we'll swap to the other side. So right foot, we decide if we want to take it into our half lotus position, or if we want to come to our figure 4. The bind or not, hands go either side and slowly walk forwards. So one, again, thinking about pressing that knee down to the down. 2, taking as long as you need to fold forwards, quite an intense version. Forward fold. 3, exhaling those left toes towards the body. So just engaging with your hamstrings a little bit more. 4. And 5. Start to slowly walk yourself all the way back, releasing that right leg in the wheelchair. So onto my favourite pose, Ashtanga. We're going to take that left foot to the inside of the right leg. So slightly different entry. But you're going to bend that right leg first of all. Taking hold of that right foot. So Ashtanga, loosen child's legs to head to knee. So taking that forehead down to the knee. We're going to take an inhale in. And on the exhale, you start to slowly slide that right leg away. Maintaining contact between the forehead, between the knee. And just seeing how far we want to go into the pose whilst maintaining that contact. Think about lengthening through that spine beautifully. So we take our time with the entry. We work our body into it when it's ready. We stop when it's too much. Thinking about pressing that left knee towards the ground, so getting some of that strength towards the inside, outside of the thigh and hips. Now take one more breath in. And then releasing the hands, pushing through the floor, lifting all the way back up. Now we can swap those legs over, so left leg extends, right leg first before bends into the body. Taking that leg bent, fastening either side of the left foot, forehead draws down towards the knee. So inhale in, exhale, start to extend away. Again, experiment with seeing how deep you want to go here, whilst maintaining the back. Again, that right knee suddenly presses down towards the ground. Breath moving into all dimensions of the body, front, back, sides. Good. And using that breath as a guide, it's flowing easy, maybe we go deeper, slightly restricted, pausing and resting.
Take one more breath. And then slowly release the hands, put yourself all the way back up. Release that right leg, have a little shake. And we're going to come through vinyasa, so cross the feet in, plant those hands, step yourself back. Again, take your time to roll it down, meeting in down dog, and one more time. Before we come into some twists. And other seated poses. Beautiful. And 2 breaths in. Once again, next inhale, look between the hands up into those chin toes. Bend the knees, lower the legs, jump and hop yourself forwards, down and across to beautiful. Release the legs. So from here into Marichyasana A, you're going to start by bending that left leg into the body. That right hand, just check the distance between the foot and the thigh. What about a hand's distance? So take your right hand, supported by your side. Inhale, you're going to float that left hand up. On the exhale, reach it to the inside of the left leg. Good. Now we're going to turn the palm away from us and start to wrap that hand around the leg. And keep that palm facing away. If you would like, maybe start to wrap that right hand around. Maybe you come to connect, maybe we don't, it doesn't matter. But start to encourage the forward fold. Even if we're in a half bind, we can allow ourselves to gently fold forwards. Beautiful. Binds don't always work for everyone. Depends on shoulder mobility hugely. Good. So again, breathing. Really work to hug that left knee into your arm. Good. And take one more breath in. And then slowly, foot in the bind, releasing it, coming all the way upright. So you can let that left leg extend in your position. So bending that right leg in. Again, check that balance. Do you guys know the story of Marichyasana? So Marichyasana was a sage, and he turned his wife into a pebble. So all his poses represent her like a pebble. So this is one of them. So anyway, that's how he did his first line. It's so funny. So envision yourself as a pebble. Inhale, the right hand's going to come up. Extend it towards the inside of the leg. Turn the palm away so you can start to find a little bit of a wrap. If you're comfortable here, stay here, or maybe you meet in a bind. Take your time to fold forwards, hugging that knee in, thinking of that little pebble. Beautiful. Nice. Flexing into that left leg. And go for one more breath in. And then slowly unraveling yourself, coming all the way up, release that right leg, give it a little bit of a shake. Lovely. So last little pose of Marichyasana, bending that left leg into the body again. This time it stays fairly close to the thigh. So you're going to hug that knee in and place that left hand behind you. So stay facing forwards, rooted, inhale to lengthen through the spine. I want you to exhale out of your mouth completely. Beautiful. At the end of that exhale, then invite the rotation to the left side. Change up the hands if you would like. Maybe you take it further down the thigh, or maybe palm faces up. Reason why we exhale completely before we twist so that we empty those lungs. Beautiful. So again, also remembering in our twists, we only have a certain amount of rotation. So only exploring how we can still breathe. One more breath. Slowly rotating forwards, releasing those arms, releasing them, give it a shake. Same thing on the other side, pick the right leg up. Right hand goes behind, take hold of that right knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale out of the mouth first. At the end of the exhale, then invite the rotation towards the right hand side. Beautiful. Again, change up the position in the hands, what feels good. And we can still focus on that breath. Really pressing through your back hand, using that as a support for the body. Lovely. One more breath in. And slowly, once again, rotating forwards, releasing both legs, give them a little shake. Having a little play with both toes. So point those toes onto the ground. Take hold of just below the kneecaps first of all. Roll the shoulders back and down, drawing the belly button in. Start by lifting the feet off the ground, coming to about a nice
point in line with the knees. Either stay here or maybe start to explore releasing the hands. Go wherever feels good. Breathing for 3. Good. For 2. One more breath. I'm going to cross those feet. We're going to plant those hands and lift the hips up to the air. And slowly come back down and release into one more boat pose. So legs either bent, we hold, or we start to explore straight. See where you go. Reason why we do that little lift in traditional Ashtanga, they do 5 asanas with the floating hands in between. Intense. So one more breath in. This time, as you cross the feet in, plant those hands, step yourself back to your plank. Good. Inhale, prepare the body. Exhale, slowly lower it down. Inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, down facing dog. And make our way into some supine poses, some inversions to finish our practice. But before, we'll take 2 more breaths in. Next inhale, look between those hands, stepping or jumping down to seated, releasing those feet in front of you. So just before we come down, I like to do a little bit of gentle core work. So you're going to take your palms together, press your heels to the floor, and round down, 1 vertebrae at a time. So allow the heels to drag, but control from the opposite side of the spine. Good, remember that breath. It gets pretty hard coming down to the lumbar spine. Good, control. Eventually, when the head touches down, you're going to release the hands above. Maybe just roll through the ankles, roll through the wrists a couple times. So I'm going to do 2 rounds of little bridge, or if you practice full wheel, you might explore that. But to start with, let's plant the feet on the floor, about hip distance apart, and check you can feel your heels with your fingertips so that when we do go up, we have support from the lower body. Hands start by your side. Inhale, start to lift through the lower back, mid-back, engaging the glutes, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. So keep your hands by your side, and maybe you interlace them behind your back, or maybe you take them to support just underneath the hips. See what feels good. Breathing in for 3, for 2, and then on 1, slowly let your whole body come down to the ground. Hugging your knees into your chest, maybe just let yourself rock side to side. Beautiful. So for the next one, deciding if you want to stay with a little bridge, or maybe we practice full pose of Urdhva. So when you're ready, plant those feet back down to the ground, shake, feel your heels. If you're coming to full pose, take the hands next to the ears, elbows pointing up. Wherever we are, use the inhale to push the feet into the floor, slowly round up and lift through the spine, engage glutes, engage into full pose. Beautiful, guys. If we're in full pose, work to push the chest towards the back. Squeezing the glutes regardless of where we are. Checking in with that breath, beautiful. Allow that whole body to breathe. 1 more breath in. Slowly invite the body back down. Take it nice and slowly. Lovely. Eventually again, hugging the knees back into the chest. Letting yourself rock side to side. And then from here, holding those knees in, we're just going to start to roll up and down. So allow those legs to travel behind, knees to move wide. Allow those hips to sit down, chin into the chest. So breathing in. Maybe you let yourself slowly travel side to side. We've got 2 more postures left. Shoulders on your child's pose, lifting the chest up and off the knees so in a nice kneeling position. Then swiveling those legs around to the front. So shoulder stand, you can do it with that leg slowly by yourself. So rock back, lift the feet up, take the hands to the lower body. If we're not practicing shoulder stand, that is fine. We can lie on our back above our hips. Finding again the same sort of leg position. Beautiful. So having those hands to support the lower body, squeezing through those legs, pointing the toes, and finding that breath moving to the chest, maybe to the ribs, maybe to the back. Lovely. Let's go for one more breath here. And then slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time. Maybe take hands either side and use control. Maybe you see if you can come all the way up to easy pose or cross-legged position. So, final pose if you want to take full lotus, you can, or maybe you come into half lotus, or maybe you just have those legs crossed. There's a last little bit, so you take your hands down by your side. It is easier in full lotus. So if that's any encouragement, feel free, but if it doesn't feel good, don't worry. But what we do is see if we can start to push the weight forward as we ground through the hands and maybe we lift the bottom up. If we're in half lotus, see if you can just start to lift. Nice. Pushing. It's meant to be the final push up the practice of teeth. And then on slowly let everything come down, release those legs in front. So again, traditional Ashtanga which I hold that for like 100 breaths, which is just insane. It's like painful. So when you guys are ready, let's come into Shavasana. Take your time to come down onto your back. Drink some water before you get here, but when you're lying down, let the feet go as wide as they want to go, hands wherever. You're just going to think about allowing those eyelids to come down to a close. The tongue to release from the top of the mouth. That jaw to separate. And to allow your whole body, from the head all the way down past the shoulders, the hips, the heels, to feel more and more supported by the ground as each breath goes on. So well done for practice today. I will leave you to enjoy Shavasana for a few moments, and I'll bring you back when it's time.
into probably we just starting simple movements to try to use the hands, allowing it to grow across your whole body. Eventually, just working to bring your knees back to your chest. Just finding a supine posture that feels good. Obviously, welcome to stay here for as long as you want. If you feel like coming back to seated, just roll it to one side and gently push yourself to a comfortable seat. I'm going to go ahead and close the eyes, close the mantra. So feel free to just be still, just slowly move. Swasti Prajabha Paripalayam Nayena Nayena Nayam Manishya Ko Brahmayya Subhanastu Niyata Loka Samasta Sukhiyo Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'd like to invite persons to carry their head. Namaste. Before you come back to the room, just drop those palms, just build up a little bit of heat. Take your hands over your time. Take your time to come back to the room. So thank you guys for this. If you enjoyed it, thank you guys for hope you guys enjoyed it. That's a bit tasty. Yeah, it's really, really nice. But the hashtag builds so much heat as well. Whoa, that's crazy. And it's so different to teaching like pop pod as well, because it's like a different kind of heat. You know what I mean? Like, I think pop pod is like more wet. Is that right?
But it's like from the outside in.
Yeah. I'm so glad I had you two. I was just like nervous about this class. Like, I don't know what it was. I think it's like a combination of new studio and like going back to Ashtanga, which I haven't taught in person in like a long time. I taught it quite a lot in Zoom, but that's obviously like so different. Yeah, so it's like,
It's so nice to do like proper yoga class. It's like yoga these days is just it's movement classes.
yeah.
It's flow.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. That yes.
Just more like, not strict, but more traditional, I guess.
Yeah, traditional.
Yeah.
Like, same with the Bikram. I just love the Bikram because you just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can just get into the pose and not worrying about a lot of yoga now with the in-betweens.
Yeah, it's a lot of like exploration.
Yeah,
as well.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 years, and a lot of these poses I haven't done for so long. I'm just like, oh hello,
Yeah.
oh yeah, wow. This is why I love the tantra practice because it's similar to traditional. There's no flow. You get into a posture, you do the posture,
I think like
coming up.
Grace, who she teaches her own set sequence. She loves like the set sequence stuff, so she's created her own like a leather form. And she was saying how like when times right now are so insecure, having a set sequence to go to is having that stability.
Yeah.
And like obviously vinyasa flow, it's fun, you know, you're exploring movement, but that can be sometimes like an added bit of pressure because oh shit, you know, just moving. But like with Ashtanga with sequence stuff, it's like okay, I
each posture, I just felt like all this energy inside, and everything was just like opening up. Like by the end of it, I was just feeling amazing. You know, it's like coming home, and like it's like this is how my yoga practice started with this like traditional yoga. It's kind of just gone off into like explorative movement, which I love. But it's like coming back to this, it's like, oh man, it's such a good feeling. The energy you feel, like saying that he was in Shavasana, it was just vibrating in the body. There's codes within it. Like, there's a reason there's a set sequence that's been practiced for thousands of years.
Exactly.
There's feeling the tantra practice. Well, people come from tantra, and by the end of it, they're just like blown away. Like, they haven't felt that from a class. Everything here is flow, you know?
Yeah. I think like, it's funny because like, a lot of people are put off by Ashtanga because they think it's like super strict and super like, no. But like, actually when you do it, it is quite slow paced. You know, it's like you come into the pose, you hold for like, 5 breaths. Vinyasa, that's relatively fine. You know what I mean? It's like moving to each breath forward.
It's like just as you get into the pose in Vinyasa, it's like,
it's the whole point, you don't let people get uncomfortable. Same with tantra practice, you get people on, but you see they want to get out of the pose. Stay in there.
That's what I hate about
Yeah, that's why this is so.
I got so angry.
You were the flow girl, you were the hot pot girl. And then we came to tantra, we hold things for like 20 breaths in the pose.
I remember. I was like, I thought like Ashtanga was intense, like 5 breaths.
The tantra we practiced with me was very short.
Because your practice is like 3 hours.
3 hours, so when I teach the workshop, we did the full practice, and it's like.
Because there's such a vulnerable opening process as well, that was what made me angry because I was had a lot of shit stored up. But like Felix's yoga, it was like Ashtanga.
It's like it was Ashtanga stuff, but it was
I like that because I was like struck. But it was actually just
No, I feel the same like with Ashtanga because I was like, I never used to hold that much. And it's a weird in between Vinyasa and yin. Yin for me is like just too much. Like holding in the pose sometimes. Ashtanga is nice, it's just like, or any set sequence, you're in it for like a few more breaths, you can just take your time.
When you showed me come back, you really, like, with Bikram once when I was doing Bikram, I saw, like, put him aside and practice. It's not even practice anyway, you stop it. The practice itself is like, I want you to come and try it. The heat's a bit much. We went to Sam's class, she teaches here. But the Ashtanga thing, there's a lot of stigma around it because there are a lot of old school teachers who are it's like old school teachers in school. There's a lot of the Ashtanga teachers are like that, so a lot of us younger generation get put off by the stigma. When someone like you teaches it, you're not coming around like making sure my foot is exactly where it's supposed to be because my foot will go where it's supposed to be. There's no Ashtanga has that stigma of people like forcing your body into a position and looking. It's very aesthetic.
It's very like angles.
And not once have you used to talk about my heel being lined up with here or that you just like step back and it's the same with tantra. It's kind of the same with Bikram as well. So let your body.
It's like a new age of teaching.
I think this style of yoga will come back around. I think the Western world's doing like a big circle. We've gone up from like kids. Like, I want to just do loads of flow and explore this and try make poses up and like.
It's like days. Do you feel like day one yoga? No.
You should do that 4 minutes course, the online course.
She's been an Ashtanga teacher for like 25 years, but she's just like
Ashtanga teacher on road.
She's gone that road is the way she says it, but she did this 4 minutes course that basically it's all based on Ashtanga and it's about like specific things like ankles and heels and hips and stuff like that, but she based it all around like posture types, like body types, and anterior, posterior tilts.
It's all very biomechanics as well. Very in-depth anatomy, but not anatomy, biomechanics.
It's really functional, but it's still from a totally respecting the Ashtanga practice.
Nice.
Well,
that's it. Like obviously, there's still the upheld traditions and respect for that, but it's making it applicable to Western bodies. Because the practice was designed for 14-year-old boys, so like that's so far removed from now.
Well, a lot of the Ashtanga teachers have got this discs in. Like Lindsay, she's got 2 slip discs, she's bust her knee, hips, same day.
I finished my shoulder from getting so many vinyasas in like Ashtanga practice.
Yeah.
That's why like, I don't like to, because we should have done at least like 10 more.
We're supposed to start with 10 salutations, right?
But you start with 10 salutations, and I think throughout the entire practice there's like 52 vinyasas.
Yeah.
Right? So you do this, vinyasa, then do this, vinyasa.
No, you just do this,
vinyasa.
yeah.
Like those videos of Kino Yoga that we watched in her third series or whatever, it's just that.
You should just get high and watch her.
But day-based, she has like that, she bases it all around, she does what she do.
4 minutes is hips, shoulders.
But she starts, I think, with the body types, then she does hips,
Shoulders.
shoulders,
And then rotation.
whatever, but she does like 4, I can't remember now, but she goes through it in a way where she kind of says like, do 50 vinyasas if you want, but if you've got, a posterior shoulder tilt or whatever, do it like this, and then don't. And she goes over like, she's like, how many directions